I bet you didn't know that 3 days ago, I wore a sweatshirt for the first time in almost 8 months. And pretty soon, that medallion right there, the Halloween Horror Nights one, it will be a Christmas medallion, which can only mean one thing, and that is that it is November here in Central Florida. So in today's video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know if you're visiting the parks this month. Let's talk about the obvious stuff first. This is a Halloween Horror Nights decoration, and it will be going away soon, kind of like that medallion. So Halloween Horror Nights ends on November 3rd, but when Halloween Horror Nights ends, very quickly after that, November 22nd, the holidays start here at Universal. So with the holidays, what does that bring? Well, it brings several things, to be honest. One of them is the end of the Mega Movie Parade. So the last Mega Movie Parade will be on November 14th, and I'm sure that's just to make way for the Christmas Parade. So every year Universal has a Macy's Christmas Parade featuring the Macy's Day Parade balloons. It's some sort of verbiage like that. But also with the coming of the holidays, you expect to see a change with the tribute store. So right now we have two tribute stores, one here on Hollywood, which has been here since the summer. It's like the retro VHS rental. I just want to say Blockbuster, but it's not Blockbuster, with the arcade in it. I'll miss that one. That one's been really cool. It's got all the retro movies, and it's such a vibe. And then you have the Halloween or the Halloween Horror Nights tribute store over in New York. I expect both of them to close. There's not been any announcement that there will be a holiday tribute store, but there generally is. I don't know which location, but you should expect to see that at some point in November. And of course, with the holidays coming back to Universal, it wouldn't be the holidays here if you didn't have Grinchmas, and Grinchmas is making its return. I would assume the show, and of course, that means one thing, and that is that Max will be back. Don't get me wrong, I love Grinch, but Max is the star of the show. Something new and exciting that is coming to Universal this November is this store that's right behind me. This is the Wicked store. They haven't made an announcement about the date, but it was supposed to open in October according to the press release, so I would assume that it will open in November. The movie does come out on November 22nd. So yeah, I don't have much details on it, but something to look out for. The only thing that I can say is this store will be popular. It's going to be popular. Okay, so I just walked out of studios. I'm actually headed over to Islands because that's where I want to grab lunch and talk about some other stuff. But as I was walking out of studios, I got hung up by the Mega Movie Parade, and I'm so glad that I did because today they premiered the Ecto 1. So if you're here before it stops running on November 14th, you should check it out. I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan, and seeing that today has just it's made my day. Okay, before I go into Islands of Adventure, I feel like it's a good time to talk about early park admission. So EPA this month. EPA runs all month long here at Islands of Adventure. That's why I'm standing here to talk about it. And that is at 8 a.m. every single morning. However, we do have a little bit of a surprise. So on the 25th, the week of the 25th through the end of the month, Studios is also added to EPA, so you can get into that park at 8 a.m. EPA is also at Volcano Bay all month long at 9:30. That is when it's open, but we'll talk about that here in a minute. As I was walking through Seuss Landing, I noticed that the decorations are everywhere. I mean, they're basically done in Seuss Landing, but my favorite part was that the Lorax, he has a new bow this year, and he deserves it. He deserves a new bow every year. I've been craving this dragon quinoa salad ever since the first time I've had it, and that made me realize that I just don't come to Circus McGurkus very often. We loved our meal here. We tried everything the first time that we ever came, and I said I'd come back, and I just don't come except for during the Orlando Informer meetups. And so while I'm talking about the meetups, y'all know I love working with them and love going to them, so I'll be at every weekend this year, and there's 4. So there's November 15th, 16th, November 22nd, 23rd, December 6th, 7th, and December 13th, 14th. Can't believe I got through that in one take. But there is one weekend that I am particularly excited for, and that is the 22nd and 23rd. And that's because I am doing a meet and greet from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. between the two parks. So if you're coming to the meetup, you'll know what I'm talking about. You can use this shortcut crosswalk between the two parks. I'm having a meet and greet right there. So if you're there, I would love to see you, love to say hello. I love getting to say hi to people. And if you're not coming, you should probably come. So I'm not standing there alone. Like, that would be your fault. But anyways, I'll put a link for the tickets for the meetup if you want to come down below. And I am going to eat now because I am ravenous. Whew. That salad was so good. And then I was walking over here to record and I saw that the green eggs and ham sign is up and brand new and it looks great. And I can't wait to eat there again. I'll probably get those at the meetup as well. Because while riding all the rides without having to wait is wonderful. I mean, that's great. All the free food is the real reason I show up every single night. But anyways, back to the updates. So let's talk about park hours. Park hours are all over the place this month. I mean, I would call them sporadic at best. Here's a great example. The first 3 days of November, Universal Studios closes at 5. That's because of HHN. That's pretty typical. But then the rest of the month, both parks close at either 7 or 8, with the majority of the nights falling around 7. However, that last week, so the 25th through the 30th, Thanksgiving week, some of the nights the parks are open as late as 10 p.m. So just all over the place. If you are visiting during November, I would just suggest checking the Universal app because we would be here all day if I tried to tell you every night and the hours that it closes. And while I'm here, we can also talk about, I'm getting a phone call. That is my mom. I will call her in a minute. But we can also talk about crowds. Crowds in November are kind of weird because at the beginning of the month, it's not bad. Like, there's not that many people here. It's a great time to visit the parks. The temperature's cooling down. Like, the weather is generally pretty nice. So I love visiting early November. However, that last week, one of the reasons that the parks are open later is because the parks are much busier. Anytime there's a major holiday and families have vacation time, you come to the parks. That's what we used to do when I was a kid. So if you're visiting any other time than that last week, the crowd should be pretty moderate. But that last week, fairly crowded. Okay, but now it's time to talk about everybody's favorite thing, and that is closures. And I'm going to use my phone for this because I don't know them off the top of my head. I know the rides that are going to be closed. I just don't know the time frames. That's a lot of dates. So over in studios, you have one ride closure, and that is Men in Black. I know. Disappointing. I haven't ridden it in quite some time, but I find myself wanting to ride it now all of a sudden that it's going to be closed. It closes on November 4th and remains closed throughout the entire month. It opens sometime like early-ish December, but if you're coming in November, unless you're coming those first 3 days, you're not going to ride that. And then over here in Islands, you have 3 ride closures. The first one being Pteranodon Flyers, P Flyers. It just hasn't reopened. It's been closed for like 6 months now, went down unexpectedly for maintenance, and it still hasn't reopened. Spider-Man closed on October 21st, but it reopens early in the month, so it reopens on November 7th. But then on November 7th, Dudley Do Rights closes, and it will remain closed through the remainder of the month. And then the only other thing is like Me Shipped Olive, not really a ride, but an experience. It's closed. Sorry, I panicked. I couldn't remember when it closed. It closed on the 21st, and it won't be open at all this month. So I know that's a big bummer for everybody that was coming for Me Shipped Olive, but maybe in December. There's a few other things that I think we should talk about, one of them being blockout dates. There are actually blockout dates in November. It's that week of the 25th through the 30th. So if you have the Power or Seasonal Pass, you can't get into the parks that week. And then the big one, I couldn't go this video without talking about it, Epic Universe tickets. Those are currently on sale. You can get a 3-day, 3-park ticket where one of the days will get you into Epic Universe currently. Like, that's the only thing that's being sold. If you're an annual pass holder, there are dates left where you can get a single day ticket. You have to go through like the website, or the app and say that you're an annual pass holder, and those single day tickets will pop up. But if you don't have an annual pass, currently, like I said, the only thing you can get is that 3-day ticket, but it's exciting. I mean, we're in exciting times. Epic Universe is literally like, 6 months away? Half a year. That is insane, but I'm so excited. But anyways, I think that does it. I hope to see you all on the 22nd of November for that meet and greet. But until then, stay classy. I don't know.